thickness feels like a Maglite D-cell flashlight. Here's the business end where there's 3 XML LED. There's a hole at the end to attach a lanyard, which I think is a good idea because the light is quite slippery, and it's good to have some kind of hand strap when you're holding the light, just in case. The flashlight is capable of tail standing, even with this ring, this metal ring inside the lanyard hole. Without it, it's even more stable. It's not perfectly flat because the button sticks out very slightly, but it's pretty stable. The button has a nice texture feel. It's a reverse clicky. It has a nice aesthetic look with this stainless steel looking ring around it. It uses 3 18650 lithium-ion batteries. As you can see, the quality is okay, not the best. There's some rough edges on the top, and it's not a perfect circle, but it gets the job done. The threads are not anodized, which means that if you unscrew the tail cap, you're not going to be able to lock it out, but which means it could be, quite dangerous. You don't want it to turn on your bag, but the button, I don't think it's very easy to press. It's not a digital switch, so I think it's quite safe. That's up to you, how you want to pack it. Here's a view from the inside the tube, and you can't really, there's no physical protection for reverse polarity. With the battery carrier inside, it's pretty snug fit. Looks pretty good. This particular model is a 4-mode model, which with the cold white XML tint color, and that means this one has low, medium, high with a turbo, which is a direct drive, and the turbo is pretty bright and actually pretty dangerous in the amount of heat that it creates. So they recommend that you don't run it too long. Okay, let's try out the light. Click it, start at low, this is low, half click to go to the next medium, half click to high, then another half click to turbo, which is really bright and direct drive. You can feel the heat coming out of the front. The light has a mode memory, so whatever level you left it at last, it will turn back on, which is very nice. Pro is that this light is very cheap. It's $75 US plus shipping, and this is for this particular model, which is a cold white 4-mode model. What I don't like is how slippery the body is, so you definitely, I feel that you have to use a hand strap just to make sure it doesn't slip out of your hand, because it feels quite hefty with the 3 batteries in there. Also, what I don't like is, which is just me being very picky, is that because there's only a spring at the end and not the top, that when you have a rear clicky, any interruption in the power gets registered as a mode change. So for example, if you put it on a table, it would change the mode. And another nitpick is the PWM, as you can see here. If you're very sensitive to pulse width modulation, then this is not going to be your favorite light. First thing I noticed when I turn the light on is that it looks kind of weird. Usually I'm not that sensitive to it, but definitely notice it on low. And as you get higher, it's not as noticeable. As you can see on the camera, you see the light kind of streaming with the bars. This is not what you see with your naked eye, but it gets picked up on the camera. Noticeable on low, and not as so noticeable as you get brighter on the thing. In real world use, I don't find it that annoying at all on any of the modes. when you're shining it out into the field. So it's just sort of a nitpick. If you're very sensitive to this type of frequency of the light, then you're probably not going to like it. Yeah, there's a pond in front of me. So let's see how far this dry 3 XML can shoot. Some control shots. It's dark. Put it on low. That is about 100 feet away. Got the little structure over there. Low, medium. Yep, that's well defined. I can see you. Going high. Oh, throws pretty well, even though it's pretty much sort of a floodlight. Well, I guess it has a spot. Put on turbo. Ooh, that's a big juicy. Yeah, that's a lot of light. And the body's getting warmer and warmer. Put it back in low. Let's see, reverse clicky with memory. This is medium, off, back in medium, reverse clicky, high, turbo, low. Yeah, pretty cool. This is the cool white XML emitter. All in all, this is really a great light. This particular model is very much designed for the flashaholic, which wants the most light possible with, throwing caution to the wind. You have to be careful for this kind of light because the amount of heat it creates, from the output, it's not made to run so long in the high or the turbo modes. And that's, I guess, depending on what kind of environment you're in. If you're in a cold environment, so it could be probably okay, but if you're in a hot environment, it's probably not recommended. But you definitely get a lot of light for the dollar, so it's definitely a fun light, and definitely a light that you can show off because it's so small.